Things have gotten so twisted lately, haven't they? You sit there staring at another report, another forecast, and somewhere deep down you feel it. That gnawing, sinking suspicion that maybe, just maybe, all of this is heading for a crash. Not a small stumble, but a full brutal collapse that would shake everything to its core. But here's the thing. You're not alone with that thought. There's a hidden current under the surface, a kind of secret gambling, and guess who's holding the big chips? Limited partners. Yeah, those people you know, or maybe don't know well, who seem calm on the outside, but might just be quietly betting on the whole system breaking. This isn't about conspiracy theories or paranoia. It's about raw, real tension. The cracks are showing. Look around. Markets that should be stable, behaving like they're on a roller coaster. Tech bubbles fluffing up with nothing real underneath. And governments printing money like it's going out of style. You, as a limited partner, probably see this too. You feel the pressure, the noise, and that awful tiny alarm in your head whispering, what if everything goes sideways? But what do you do with that feeling? Where do you even start when the stakes are sky high and the certainty you once had is crumbling? It's crushing. And it's isolating. Because everyone talks about growth, about scaling, about more like it's inevitable. But you know deep down that those numbers can just as easily spiral down. You're caught in a world that's obsessed with stability, but runs on shaky foundations. It's like everyone's dancing on thin ice, pretending it'll hold. Meanwhile, you're staring into a future that's uncertain, unstable, and maybe even dangerous. It's easy to feel powerless when every expert just parrots the same tired lines. They talk about diversification, hedging, resilience, but do those words actually mean anything when the ground beneath you could vanish overnight? Here's where it gets real. The truth is, the only way to win in a world that might collapse is to stop playing by the old rules. The ones that say, trust the system, play safe, be patient. That's a trap. It's safe if the system holds, but what if it doesn't? What if all those supposed guarantees are just illusions? The hardest pill to swallow is realizing that being careful might actually be your biggest risk. Because in a collapse, carelessness sometimes feels smarter than caution. But don't misunderstand. This isn't a call to reckless bets or blind panic. It's about sharpening your mind to see beyond the surface chaos and understand what's actually happening underneath. Limited partners are in a unique spot. You have access, insight, and influence that most can only dream of. You're not just passive observers, you're gatekeepers of capital and architects of the future, whether the future looks bright or bleak. So what if instead of fearing collapse, you started thinking about how to harness it, how to prepare in ways others can't even imagine? That preparation isn't found in spreadsheets or glossy pitches. It's found in a ruthless assessment of reality. Strip away the comfortable narratives you've been fed. Examine every assumption, every indicator, and trust what your gut and your data combined are really telling you. Then, get ready to act on that knowledge. It's about more than just financial safety nets. It's about pivoting your mindset, your portfolio, and your network toward resilience that isn't fragile or dependent on the next big bailout. You need to demand less from the system and more from yourself. This means doubling down on strategies that don't just survive disorder, but find opportunity in it. Look carefully for assets and ventures that question the status quo, that thrive outside the mainstream's narrow definitions of success. Innovation born from chaos, decentralization, radical transparency, these aren't buzzwords. They're the blueprint for tomorrow's power structures. You already know that. You've seen companies rise by challenging old rules, by betting on what others fear. Now is your turn. Yes, it's a gamble, but calculated fear is better than paralyzing denial. And here's a secret nobody likes to talk about. Limited partners have for a long time been the quiet holders of power. You move money, yes, but you also move mindsets. When you start asking tougher questions about the stability of the systems you invest in, you begin changing the game at its core. You push founders to think not just about growth, but about endurance, risk, and transformation. You help build resilience into the DNA of new ventures. This is where your leverage lies, not just in capital, but in influence, vision, and courage. It's scary to admit that some of the biggest players might be quietly hoping for collapse. But why? Because collapse shakes up power, flushes out weaknesses, breaks the old rules. Those who prepare can pick up pieces others discard. It's not about destruction for destruction's sake. It's about rebirth, reinvention. Imagine being the one who recognizes the opportunity in a broken system and uses it to build something unbreakable. That's real power. That's real freedom. And freedom, that's what everyone talks about, but barely anyone lives. Freedom isn't about comfort or safety. It's about owning your choices, your risks, even your failures. Limited partners have the privilege and the burden of steering resources into a future no one's guaranteed. It's a heavy weight, but also a rare chance to lead in ways that no CEO or analyst can replicate. By embracing discomfort, by betting on unconventional ideas and markets that the majority fears, you can create not just surviving portfolios, but thriving ones. So if there's one thing to hold on to, it's this. Don't let the system's illusions trap your mind or your capital. Use every tool at your disposal to see clearly, behind the headlines, beyond the hype. Question everything, especially the comforting lies. Align yourself with people who aren't afraid of the fire, who see the collapse not as an end, but as a shift waiting to be seized. Build your own path where others see only danger. Your mission is to be the edge, the spark that refuses to accept the world as it is. This isn't a game for everyone, and that's the point. It's for those who burn with a quiet rage against mediocrity, with a desperate hunger for something bigger. The ones who know that betting on collapse isn't about destroying the future, but about clearing the way for what must come after. That kind of courage? It's rare, it's fierce, and it's exactly the kind of fire this moment demands. So keep watching, keep questioning, and start moving. Because collapse isn't just a threat, it's an invitation. And limited partners who understand that will not just survive the coming storm, they will own the new world it creates.